Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back for another Total War video with the Terminator. Today, I'm pivoting away from my usual Total War games to Three Kingdoms because one of my earliest subscribers, who happens to just be an excellent Total War modder, having made the End Times mod for Warhammer 2 and the Prelude to War mod for Empire Total War, has just released a new mod for Total War Three Kingdoms, and it is absolutely brilliant. The modder I'm talking about, of course, is the Duke, and his new mod, aptly called the Three Dukedoms, focuses on making battles in 3K the best and most realistic that they can be, adjusting things like artillery accuracy, unit spacing, battle morale, and more. So in this video, I'll be running through everything you need to know about the Three Dukedoms, why it's my go-to battle mod for the game, and I'm betting that by the end of this video, you'll decide to get into the Steam Workshop and check it out for yourself. So let's get started. The Three Dukedoms is a mod for Three Kingdoms made by the great Total War modder, the Duke. He's been modding Total War games for a long time now, but he's mainly known for his Prelude to War mod for Empire and his End Times mod for Warhammer 2, both of which, by the way, are absolute must-tries as well. The focus of the Three Dukedoms is essentially to make battles in 3K, both in the Romance and Records modes, as realistic and fun as possible, by moving away from the rock, paper, scissors formula we always see in Total War games, enhancing the AI battle tactics, and making dozens of other battle adjustments across the board. The mod was released in the Steam Workshop on the 10th of January, so just a few days ago, so it's still very early days, but what the Duke has done so far is very impressive, and to be honest, for the seasoned Three Kingdoms player, probably one of the most challenging battle modifications they'll ever play. But for the newcomer, this mod is going to be absolute hell. Vanilla Three Kingdoms in many ways is a throwback to Shogun 2 in terms of archers and cavalry being incredibly overpowered and everyone's go-to units. Obviously, you've got the added layer of the color system for different unit specializations. You've got a variation of melee, ranged, and cav units, but overall, the tactics of turtling up, hammer and anvil, or wedge formations usually apply to almost every battle you play in 3K, much like any other Total War. So when it boils down to it, battles aren't that innovative compared to previous games, and battle AI in 3K still isn't that much better, still not using tactics, still not reserving troops, and still barreling everything forward in classic Total War style. But on top of all that, ranged units and cavalry are far too overpowered, to the point that at higher levels, they can shred through loads of infantry before they even meet the front line. Enter the Three Dukedoms mod, which essentially aims to fix many of these issues. What the mod does first and foremost is completely drop the rock, paper, scissors system to make each unit balanced with clear unit counters where matchups are the deciding factor and towards representing how a unit performs on the battlefield. This completely changes the way battles feel, making them immersive, massive, bloody affairs for both Records and Romance modes. Staying with battle rebalancing, the Duke has also nerfed all ranged units, but not in damage, in angle of fire. I won't go too far into the complexities of how it's been modded and what's changed, but essentially what it means is that archers are no longer that effective when used frontally and when there are obstructions. The way to really use archers now is to get a good angle on your targets, so flanking them around to hit enemy units from the sides and the back. Another stat worth noting about archers is that they've lost their bonus versus horse. This means your cav should be more effective versus archers who, in vanilla, were still able to defend themselves against cav charges. The downside of this, though, is that cavalry has lost missile resistance, so they're more likely to get shredded by archers at distance, so keep that in mind when you're flanking your cav around to charge at a group of enemy archers. You may also notice that unit sizes have seen a fair amount of increase, with infantry 1.5 times bigger with a standard size of 160 to 240 and cavalry twice as large. This is a pretty big increase and in many ways actually could impact performance of the game as well, so just keep that in mind. With large battles, you may see some stuttering here and there, though the game is pretty optimized, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. One change that really makes a big difference for me, especially if you're playing in the romance mode, is that elephants and heroes have seen their HP dropped, so they're not as overpowered as before as well. This is a big plus because many people complain that heroes and elephants are actually very overpowered in both modes. Single entity heroes are just far too powerful in vanilla, so a great change to see in this mod. There are plenty more changes to talk about as well. I'm only just scratching the surface here. Artillery has been made less accurate. Archers have reduced range. Morale and fatigue stats have been rebalanced so that morale is a lot more about shocks in battles, and fatigue is more significant. HP has been rescaled as well as unit stats. Unit collisions recalculated so should look more natural. Shield and armor adjustments and unit spacing changes. The end result here is slower and more tactical battles that are definitely bigger in scale and far bloodier than before. You can't just throw everything forward and hope for a good result. You need to flank cavalry and archers around. You need to break enemy morale in siege battles to have a chance of winning. You need to have more artillery to make them more effective. You need to keep reserves of troops more often, and you need to know in the campaign map which units to invest in against your enemy, because the wrong units in battle can be devastating. And all of this is just the beginning for the Three Dukedoms. The Duke is a very experienced modder, and so far he's only focused on the battles, which will continue to see some work done, of course, but we'll also be getting more changes to the campaign. At the moment, the only campaign adjustments are an increase in income, an extra trade route, and an extra army at the beginning of your campaign, but he has more plans for campaign rebalancing in terms of the economy, diplomacy, etc. that should hopefully lead to an all-rounder of a mod that makes everything about the game far better than vanilla. Overall, I think you'll agree Three Dukedoms is an absolute must-try for 3K, and if you haven't played the game in a while, it's a great reason to get back into it. Trust me, it makes battles a lot more challenging and enjoyable to play. In the coming weeks and months, we'll be getting more updates, tweaks, and rebalancing to battles as well as the campaign, and hopefully we'll see some compatibility with other mods and submods as well, which would be really good. I've dropped a link to the mod Steam page in the video description below so you can get in there, download the 3 megabyte file, you know, it's not that big, and give the mod a try. It's definitely worth it, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you enjoy it, guys, make sure to give the mod on the Steam page a like and a rating, which would go a long way to support the mod's continued development, and drop some feedback for the Duke in the comments. I'm sure he would really appreciate it. Finally, I've also dropped a link to the Duke's Discord server where you can talk to him about his mods, keep up to date with the latest mod updates, and chat with other like-minded Total War players. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.